Welcome back for part 13 of the Dungeons & Dragons Icewind Dale Rime of the Frostmaiden book series. This video will continue by covering the second half of Chapter 7, Doom of Ythryn. This will be the part 2. Let's begin part 2 with the largest and most important building of the city, the Spire of Eriolarthus. This is where we will find the Demi-Lich, the spindle which brought down the city, some extremely powerful magic items, and possibly Ariel herself. So let's go to this Spire of Eriolarthus. The largest structure by far is this spire, which is found in the center of the city. This is the building the force field surrounds, and the rite is needed for anyone who wants to pass through. After gaining entry, players will find a ballroom, and surprisingly, a ball is taking place. It's of course an illusion. If the illusion is dispelled, they will see 3 wizards who now exist as a brain in a jar. All this and the stats for these are discussed in the back of the book. They basically attack with a mind blast and charm spells. Another chamber contains a wizard who is also a brain in a jar, except that the brain is attached to a helmed horror. She will greet the characters and try to find out what has happened in the outside world. After this, she will tell the players of a plan she has to use an obelisk, which is on the north end of the city, and Eriolarthus' staff of power to turn back time, which could restore the city. She will ask the party to break into the study, which is above them, retrieve the staff, and bring it to her. The study is in the last room on the top floor, and it's where Eriolarthus the Demi-Lich is found if he wasn't encountered in the city and killed. She can also perform a ritual to put someone else's brain in a jar if they would like that. The players will soon encounter a living spell named Everlast. He'll be in humanoid form, friendly to the players, and can move to any part of this building he wants. He was created by Eriolarthus during his attempts to restore the city. Everlast has been ordered not to reveal city secrets, so he won't be of much help. If someone mentions using the staff and obelisk, he will warn that will be unwise since the obelisk was damaged when the city crashed, and the results could be catastrophic. If the players find the secret door leading up to the next level, they will encounter 2 living blades of disaster. These are new 9th level wizard spells. They're discussed in the back of the book too. Past the blades will be a trap and then 8 doors. To safely pass beyond the doors, someone needs to speak one of the names of Eriolarthus' 8 apprentices. The players could only get these names from the museum building, which hasn't been described yet, so good luck having those. This is another time that one of the NPCs could give them some help. You'll find that from time to time. If someone doesn't have the names and passes through the door, a barbed devil will be summoned and attacked. Next, the players will find the spindle that brought the city down. It's a 10-foot tall spindle of gray stone that hovers and rotates slowly. The spindle can't be damaged, but if a spell of 5th level or higher targets it, a magical blast of energy will erupt from it, and all magic items and effects won't work for 28 hours. Further along is a library containing a powerful scroll which will allow someone to bring down a comet, causing it to crash into the ground. This will leave a 500-foot radius crater, so the damage will be high. That could be useful. How about using it on Ariel? Lastly, there will be the Demi-Lich, Eriolarthus, and 3 Nothics if he hasn't been killed already. Remember, he could be found wandering around the city, so that's a possibility. Papers in the Lich's study will describe how the Ythryn Mythalar device held the city in the sky. They will go on to tell how the obelisk can be used to turn back time, and the command word needed to shut down the force field surrounding this spire is here. Treasure includes a staff of power fully charged, a very thick spell book, a scroll of Tarask summoning, and a few more items. How about using the Tarask on Ariel? Another tower is one of evocation. This will be found out further in the city. It contains 8 gelatinous cubes, everybody's favorites, and one of the inscriptions needed for the rite of arcane octad is here, so somebody will have to go in there and get it. At the northern end of the city is the obelisk we mentioned. It was built to rewind time if that was needed. The problem is that it was damaged in the fall and the Demi-Lich can't get it to work. If players have the Staff of Power, they can use it on the obelisk, but the results are not what they would expect. There are a few possible outcomes. 1. The staff splits and explodes. 2. Any creature within 120 feet of the obelisk becomes 10 years younger. 3. The obelisk disintegrates, as do all others like it throughout the world, and the entire planet is hurled back to a time before the city fell. No need to worry, it's only a few thousand years or so. Next is the Tower of Illusion. A mist inside will act as a phantasmal killer spell, but another one of the inscriptions farther right is inside, so someone's going to have to go through that and get it. In the center of this city, in what looks to be below the spire of Eriolarthus, is the Ythryn Mythallar device. It's within the force field surrounding the spire, so the rite of the arcane octave must be performed to reach it. The device appears as a 50-foot diameter crystal sphere. The Demi-Lich Eriolarthus is attuned to it, so he must be killed before someone else can use it. Remember, this device can undo the everlasting winter of Auril. To do this, players must gain control over it, ending the winter, which will surely attract Auril if she hasn't been killed. Next, we have the Tower of Enchantment. Inside, the players will find an elderly woman wearing a crown of iron tentacles. This is the Archmage Avira. The crown was at one time used to protect her from mental attacks, but it's been damaged. The crown now siphons her memories, but also keeps her alive. She is stunned and looks dead, but close examination will show she is alive. If the crown is removed, she turns to dust in seconds. As she dies, she asks the party to destroy the crown. Anyone touching the crown will need to make a wisdom save or be forced to place the crown on their head and have their memories siphoned out too. The Anvil of Disjunction, which was described in another area, could destroy it. Nothing else will. Another passage needed for the rite of the arcane octave is here. A great hall with a mirrored dome can be found on the east side of the city. Columns can be found inside, and if anyone enters a column, they'll levitate up. At the top, the player will see a dozen floating corpses. This was once used as a meditation chamber. Next, we have the Tower of Transmutation. Players who climb to the top of this tower will find a life-sized, realistic statue in a corner. If it is a wizard from the city who tried to survive the fall by changing herself into an adamantine statue. The spell should have ended, but it didn't, and here she lies. A wish spell could bring her back, but she'd age in seconds and die. Another inscription for the rite of the arcane octave is found here. Part of the inscription is missing, and the players will need a mending cantrip, divination spell, or some similar magic to get the last missing part. If they don't have this, I guess the DM will need to have an NPC help them out. An enormous boot-shaped structure acts as the music hall of the city. A conductor's baton can be found inside, and if it's picked up, a ghostly orchestra will appear and begin tuning their instruments. They will then stare at the conductor and wait for their instructions. 3 consecutive performance checks will cause the symphony to completely play out their lyric. The Skydock Spire is a 120-foot tower with a rotating glass chamber hovering 30 feet above it. Not much to see here. This was once a skydock for flying carriages. There is also a museum. Many statues and pieces of art have fallen and broken across the floor. On the lower level, there are 6 Nothics, and 4 spitting mimics are on the upper level. The domed ceiling contains the names of Eriolarthus's 8 apprentices. These names could be useful in the spire of Eriolarthus. That concludes all of the important structures found in the necropolis of Ythryn. But don't forget that there are other topics which need to be addressed. What about the Arcane Brotherhood? One of the members, Valine, could have entered the city with the party. If she did, use her when the party gets stuck on a problem, like how to bring down the barrier around the spire. The book suggests using her Comprehend Languages spell to translate what needs to be read throughout the necropolis. Her Leomund's Tiny Hut spell can be used as a refuge against cold and other dangers. She will do anything to get to Eriolarthus' staff of power and spellbook. If Feline is separated from the group, she will explore the city alone, but she'll get the blight and she'll transform into a Nothic. Also, don't forget the Professor Orb. Allow him to give the party a bit of information to move them along when needed. This can be a useful tool. Don't let the group get confused and bogged down. Dazon's simulacrum could also be used if he's still alive. You may remember this guy from a previous chapter. Let's not forget that Avarice, along with her companions, followed the players in. Avarice is joined by 2 gargoyles, her raven familiar, and 20 cult fanatics. Avarice will enter the necropolis 12 hours after the party. She will use the Skydock Spire as a base. From here, she will divide her group up into 4 parties and send them out to explore. The gargoyles and ravens will act as aerial scouts, so the party will be found quickly. Have the characters run into at least one of Avarice's groups, so the characters will know that they are here. Avarice will even use her raven to deliver a message to Feline and tell her to leave. Remember, these two hate each other. She may even pretend to ally with the party, but she won't join them until they have dropped the barrier around the spire. Let's also not forget Ariel. If she is dead, then all is good. If she isn't, she will know when the entrance to the caverns has been opened, and she doesn't want anyone in the city. She will arrive 24 hours after the party enters. On her arrival, the temperature will suddenly drop. She will be accompanied by 3 frost giant skeletons, 6 snow golems, and 6 winter wolves. After sending her forces out to kill the players, she will drop the barrier around the spire and watch over the city from the balcony area of the spire. Ariel will quickly capture Avarice and her forces and kill them. So if the party doesn't get into the spire within 24 hours, they can just walk in and say hi to Ariel. If the players kill most of her forces, she will walk out into the city and find the players. So the players will have to face her eventually. She's going to have to die. The book also has a section on what happens if the Tarrasque is summoned. If it's summoned in the city, it will destroy everything. It will then tear through the caves of hunger and continue across Icewind Dale. It will reach 10 towns, and goodbye townspeople. The mountains will contain it for a while, and the cold will slow it down. But eventually it heads south and tears its way down the coast. That could be an adventure all to itself. Title it The Killing of the Tarrasque. One thing that can be done with the Tarrasque is this. Summon the creature on Ariel's island. It will destroy everything there, including Grimskull, the fortress, and Ariel will be forced to abandon her island. The Tarrasque won't be able to leave the island since it's surrounded by very cold, deep water. I would call it Tarrasque Island from then on. So how does all this end? There's quite a few ways. 1, players could reveal the secrets they've been keeping if they haven't been revealed. Remember, these secrets were something added to the characters early just for fun. 2, don't forget that summer is coming. Killing Ariel or her rock will prevent her from casting her nightly spell, thus ending the winter. The Ythryn Mythallar device could also be used to end it. This would still only delay a fight with Ariel. Again, she must die. The sun will again rise and the seasons will return as they should. 3rd, now remember that if Ariel is defeated, she will be resurrected on the next winter solstice. She won't bother the mortal party anymore unless they meddle in her affairs and provoke her. 4, did the players defeat the Shardland dragon? They may want to finish it off. If needed, it will be waiting in the forge until it's sent back out by its master. 5th, the players could help to rebuild 10 towns and maybe become a speaker of a town. More adventures could be continued from Icewind Dale. 6th, if Ariel wasn't killed, the winter will become unbearable. All lakes and waterways will freeze over and there will be no more fishing. The herds of animals will be forced to migrate south or die. After this, ice devils will start to enter the area and clear the area for more Durgar. Eventually, it could become a kingdom ran by the 9 hells. 7, if the characters use the Staff of Power on the obelisk, they will have reset time. Remember, that's not just for them, that's for everything. They will enter at a time 6 months before the fall of Ythryn. The spring of this year and this new time is called the Year of Chilled Marrow, 4 years later, Nethril will fall. The players starting in the new past will find themselves high in the sky in Ythryn. A quotal will appear from where it was bound to the obelisk. It will tell the players that the obelisk is gone forever, and so are the last 2,000 years of history. It will offer healing and then leave. So the city is floating. The Lich is again in charge, and the players are stuck here. If the players want, they can warn the Lich, Larthus, about their soon-to-be fate. If so, he will take steps to see that it doesn't happen again. He will give the players a sky coach and then tell them to leave. If the players won't, they can tell him nothing, and 6 months later they can watch the city fall. So now they have a new world to explore. Almost none of the world they left behind will exist here. The DM will need to come up with an entirely new world. This last chapter was far longer than the other, but at last we're done with the storyline. I will make a few more videos about the new creatures, new magic items, and whatever else is remaining. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see you again soon. Until then, good luck and good gaming.